Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Presler. I am the son of a retired Navy captain. I am that long-haired Eagle Scout. And at CPAC this year in 2021, I did receive the Ronald Reagan Award for Freedom. What you don't know is how I got started. You see, I graduated from college with a 3.63 beauty and brains. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I couldn't find a job, so I walked dogs for a living. There's no shame in a hard day's work and honest day's labor. I went on to work at an elementary school. Then I moved down to Texas for my first ever job. That's why I'm wearing toy boots to help elect Governor Greg Abbott. I spent 2 years of my life working to defeat the Hillary Clinton.
You did it.
I love saying that. And I've spent the last 4 years of my life traveling the country, registering voters, and cleaning up our cities. You see, President Trump, he inspired me. When he talked about the city of Baltimore, I was actually disappointed because I saw everybody else was quick to point the finger, they were quick to blame, they were quick to judge, but nobody was doing anything. And so I tweeted out to my followers and I said, I'm going to Baltimore. And I didn't realize what I had done because all of these people wanted to help, and suddenly I was like, uh-oh, I have to deliver on my promises. So in 6 days, we organized to clean up on a Monday, a work day. And with 200 volunteers, we picked up 12 tons of trash in 12 hours in one single day. I went home to my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm good at picking up trash. It was at that moment that her heart swelled with pride. You see, her baby boy, that dog walker, he had turned into a trash collector. And the reason why I share this story with you is, guys, I'm an average American citizen. I'm an ordinary guy. But I did something extraordinary when in a society that tells you to say, who will, I dared to say, I will. And I hope after this event today that each of you are encouraged to be that voice, to say, I will do something about it. And now I was invited to the White House, and yes, it was the coolest gosh darn moment of my life, and yes, I didn't even flat iron my hair for that event. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. And so my story, where I come from, is I started off very humbled in the doghouse, and through hard work and dedication, I ended up in the White House.
Woo!
So how many of you here have ever thought about running for office? Thought about it? Raise your hand. Myra, there goes that hand. Excellent, good. So this is for you. I want to talk about how to run for office, especially in areas like the RGV. It's so important that we take over our school boards democratically and peacefully. I have to say that, otherwise CNN will write a hit piece on me and say that I'm inciting violence or something like that. Because imagine, the reason why Democrats have been able to push unconstitutional rules and regulations is because they control the cities. They control the mayors. In some cases, they control the sheriffs. And if we take over those positions, we can push back against the Biden administration. We can push back against any federal unconstitutional measures. So, you want to run for office? Let's get started. First, I want you guys to look at the screen for a second. Who do we see? We see Hill Dog. We see Hillary Clinton.
Dog.
Now, think about 2016 versus 2020 for a second. There's a parallel. 2016, when Hillary lost, what did she blame it on? Russian collusion, Russian interference, right? And in 2020, there were clearly shenanigans that went on. But here's the difference. The Democrats responded to their loss by passing legislation. Do you guys know what they do in California? It's called ballot harvesting. They pass this legislation legally, democratically, and with the consent of the very people that they govern. And what's the result on the screen? Every single congressional seat in Orange County went from Republican to Democrat. And they did it, I want you guys to really understand, democratically and legally. So, what am I suggesting? Now, I know that a lot of us are really disappointed, and I know that we're discouraged, but things are actually better off than you think they are. Think about this for a second. Look at that screen. Every single state, those are 23 red states that have trifecta governments. What's a trifecta? We have the governorship, we have the state house, and we have the state senate. That means we can pass whatever we want, and Texas is one of those states. So, do you guys care about election integrity? Do you guys care about fair and free elections? So, we need to contact our state house members and our state senate members and Governor Abbott and say, when are you going to pass election integrity reform? So here's what you do. You call them up, type into Google, Texas state senator, find my state senator. Texas, find my state representative. You call them, and here's what you say. What are you doing to sponsor or co-sponsor election integrity legislation? Everybody got that?
Yes.
Do you hear that? Nobody's falling asleep in my class. Excellent. So I need you guys to do that. If you're serious, if you want to win big in 2022, then you call up your state representatives because, guys, they work for you. You pay them. They owe you the decency of representation. But remember that they are not mind readers unless you call them, email them, Twitter them, Facebook, add them, parlor them. Show them at their house. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But the fact of the matter is, if you want things like defending, not defunding our police, election integrity reform, no mask mandates, open our schools, open our businesses, you have the power if you choose to harness that power. But sitting at home and posting on Facebook is not going to win us elections, and it's not going to pass election integrity reform. So in this year alone, I've got my entire year planned out. I'm going to 28 different states in 2021 alone. And we've already passed election integrity legislation in the state of Georgia. They just passed voter ID laws in Wyoming. And every state should have voter ID laws. So I'm going to make sure that we're doing this in all states that we can across the country. And my plan for 2024, as you look at the screen, is when we win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin governorships that are up in 2022, which are controlled by Republicans at the state level, by the way, then we can pass more election integrity reform to win back the White House in 2024. So no, there is a game plan, there is a pathway forward, and we can elect a conservative president in 2024.
Yeah.
How does a bill become a law? Can everybody say, subcommittee?
Subcommittee.
Subcommittee!
Subcommittee.
A subcommittee is a place where bills go to die. What that means is unless a bill comes out of subcommittee, it can't even be voted on by the House or by the Senate. So what you guys have to do is you have to call your legislators first on the subcommittee and say, I want you to pass it out of subcommittee so the House can vote on it, out of subcommittee so the Senate can vote on it. And then once we have legislation in both houses, Governor Abbott, when you lobby him, he will sign it into law. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Excellent. So there's a very important website that you all should write down in your phone. This is called legiscan.com. Lega like a piece of legislature. Scan like you're scanning a document. Everybody say legiscan.com.
Legiscan.com.
And what was the first word that I taught you? This group over here is good. Y'all, something, I don't know what y'all are drinking over here. This table's my favorite right now. You guys need to shape up. Shape up. Okay. So, legiscan.com, what does this do? This empowers you because it actually includes all 50 states in the entire country where legislation is being introduced at the state house and state senate So you can actually look up legislation that's being introduced. And it's on everything from education reform to welfare reform to prison reform. But this is introduced under your nose and you don't even know what's happening. So go to legiscan.com, click on your state like Texas, and you'll be able to read every bill so you can contact your legislators and either tell them, yes, I like this, or no, I do not want you to pass this. But this empowers you to take action at the state level. So my argument is Myra's running at this local level, right? And I'm actually encouraging people not just to run for Congress. I want them to take over the school board, city council, state reps, state senate, mayor, sheriff. Again, we take over at the state level peacefully, and we can push back against the Democrats. So think about it for a second strategically. If I'm running for Congress, by the way, are we happy that Philemon Vela is retiring from Congress? Are we happy? Do you know why he's retiring? Because this district we're in has been cycle after cycle going more and more Republican as the Hispanic community trends Republican. And I want to make this clear. The Hispanic community is a key part of the Republican Party, and we welcome you into this party. Come on! Come on, I know I'm a gringo, but we welcome you. Bienvenidos. So I want you guys to consider running for office, and I want you to step up to the plate, because if not now, then when? And if not who, then you. I need you guys to step up. This is our defining moment in history. Now, there's a second website that I want you guys to write down. What was the first website that I told you? The second website is ballotpedia.org. Everybody say ballotpedia.org. So this is really powerful because we just had another Democrat representative, a border one. See how they're all retiring during this humanitarian crisis on the border? They know what's up. They know we're coming. Her name is Representative Ann Kirkpatrick. And so I was curious, how Democrat is this district? Is it flippable? Is it winnable? So I typed into the internet, AZ2CD Ballotpedia. What the heck does that mean? Arizona, District 2, Congressional District, Ballotpedia. Immediately, it brought up the website, and I was able to find out how Democratic it was, how Republican it was, what the median income is, what the population density is, how much money she raised to win her election. This is a very powerful website to empower you, the voter, to even find out. For example, in Myra's district, should I run? Is it winnable? What do I need in order to win? What was the first website I taught you? Oh, you guys are amazing. Okay, so if you guys are running for office, you got to get people to like you, right? They have to find out your story. They liked Trump and they liked Bernie Sanders, and these were two old white men, but they liked them because they were authentic and they were true to themselves, right? So what do people know about me if you look at the TV screens? Well, there in the first picture, I'm with my mom and dad, and we're voting early. And my dad's a retired Navy captain, so yes, I'm a Navy brat. And in the second photo, I'm with some fur babies. People know I'm that dog walker. That's how I got started. And the third photo, that's me in Baltimore, the first ever Baltimore cleanup that forever changed my life. And in the last photo, I'm at the White House with Judge Jeanine Pirro. And yes, she's this little itty-bitty Lebanese woman. We took photos together. She hated the photos. She deleted them right off my phone. It's okay, we took new photos together, but she was like, bad lighting, bad lighting. She got rid of them. But my brand, my story is from the doghouse to the White House. So why are you running? If somebody said to you, Myra, why are you running? You got to be able to tell them immediately, who the heck are you? Are you a ma? Are you a veteran? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a doctor? Who are you as a person? And then it's going to build into your why. You're a ma that cares about your babies. You're a veteran that cares about your fellow men and women in the military. You're an entrepreneur that wants to make sure that our businesses stay open and people can write paychecks for their employees. So do you see how your who goes into your why, which then goes into your policy? You're a ma that cares about your babies, and so therefore you want educational reform. You're a veteran that cares about your fellow men and women in the military, and you want healthcare reform for the military. Do you see how that's a circle? How that has synergy? Excellent. Now, who are some of these people on the screen? Who's that first guy? Rand Paul, right? Is that right? I can't see. There we go. Rand Paul, what do we know about him? He's a doctor. He's an optometrist. In his free time, he helps make sure that people get better vision pro bono. Who's the next person? Young Kim, one of the first ever Korean American Republican congresswomen elected. And she's an entrepreneur out of California. Then you got Burgess Owens. What is he? He's a football star out of Utah. And then who is that last person? What's his name? Ted Cruz. What is he? He's a lawyer. He's a constitutionalist. He's a conservative. You guys know their story, their brand, simply by looking at their picture. That's powerful. That's PR. That's politics, that you can simply look at a picture and know who it is. So, who's the guy in the left-hand corner? What's his name? Mike Lindell, my pillow. Now, some of you guys, you talk to me and you say, Scott, I got a past. I did some things that I shouldn't have when I was young. Look at the Democrats. I mean, come on. Please, if you guys are worried, look at what they did. So remember that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Mike Lindell was a former crack cocaine addict, but he is the American dream. He is an American success story, that he built his business from the bottom up. He's a multimillionaire. He is the ear of Donald Trump. So if he can do it, any of you can do it. And who is that young lady in the second photo? What's her name? Hey, I have to give her credit. She went from bartender to congresswoman in the United States federal government. I give credit even to Democrats who hustle and who put in hard work and who knocked on doors like she did for 2 years straight. And some people may look down on me as a dog walker. And I think it's wrong when conservatives look down on her as a bartender. She hustled, just like, I hate to say it, Stacey Abrams. I respect work ethic. I respect hustle. And I think each of us, if we're going to stand up for the working class, then that means we stand up even for bartenders like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So turn your strengths into weaknesses. Again, run for mayor, state rep, school board, city council, sheriff. Run for local office. Now, what do you guys need when you're running a campaign? You may not need all of these locally, but I'm going to tell you what the majority of campaigns do. Majority of campaigns have a campaign manager. That person is the glue that holds the entire team together. You got your door knocker, you got your campaign candidate, you have your consultants. They're the person that makes sure that everybody is staying on message, that everything is working smoothly. Press releases. Do you remember when Amy Coney Barrett was nominated to the Supreme Court? Well, what did we have Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins do? They announced press releases with what their intent was of how they were going to vote. It's an important way that you can communicate to your constituents. Then you have public relations. What is that? That's talking to the news. So we have one American news network, right? And then you have Fox News. And then you have CNN. And then you have Newsmax. And then you have Breitbart. I'm sorry, I had a little bit of coffee in my throat. I wasn't being biased against any news organization. And stay on message. Don't have 20 different policies. Stick to 3. Open our schools, open our businesses, secure the border, and hammer that over and over and over. Stay on message, stay on 3. Treasurer, This is super important. You got to have a treasurer for your campaign. This is called campaign finance disclosure forms. And if you got girlfriends in California, all you got to do is type into the internet, California campaign finance disclosure form, Texas campaign finance disclosure form. Every single state has campaign finance disclosure forms unique to every state. And you want every single contribution, every single monetary contribution, and in-kind donation. What is an in-kind donation? If somebody allows you their wonderful space for free, then that has monetary value associated with it that you have to put down on your form. Otherwise, the Democrats will try to ding you. And then every single thing that you expend must also be noted on your campaign finance disclosure forms. Social media, how many of you have been banned from Twitter? Raise your hand. Hey! So, if you've been banned from Twitter, you've probably been banned from Facebook. And if you've been banned from Facebook, you've probably been banned from Instagram, because they all talk to each other, right? Well, we have some alternatives in case you get banned. You got Gab, you got Parler, you got Telegram. I love Telegram. It's fast, it's easy, it tells you how many people view your posts, allows people to comment in real time. But the fact of the matter is we need an all-of-the-above social media approach. And if you are starting to run for office, the very first thing that you need is you need a website. So when you go on the media, you can direct everybody to your Myra website. You can direct everyone to donate to you, sign up to volunteer with you, work with you. But you need to have an all-of-the-above social media game, even if you get banned from everything else. Door knocking. Myra, do you door knock? Excellent. You will not win a campaign unless you are door knocking like Myra is. You must be a candidate that is willing to go out there. I don't care if you have a family. I don't care if you have a business. Go after you take care of the kids. Go after you work a long day. You got to go knock on doors in order to win. Now, where do we get the data behind it? You have door knocking applications, Campaign Sidekick, Advantage Mobile, i360. The Trump campaign in 2016 used Advantage Mobile. In 2020, they switched over to Campaign Sidekick. So basically, I can look y'all up from your data on your voter history, and I can find out if you're an inferred Republican. I can find out if you're an independent. I can find out if you're a soft Democrat. And based on that data, then we have campaigns who use that data to knock on doors strategically. Am I going to knock on every single door, guys? No, I'm going to knock strategically because this is a science in order to win. And it has something to do with consumer data too. These door knocking applications find out, have you bought shotgun shells? Have you bought a Bible? Do you subscribe to Country Living magazine? Then you are probably an inferred Republican. And the data is on these door knocking applications. I know it's a little creepy, but it helps people like me win. And then there's just a really cute photo of me door knocking. But see how it's the brand. I got my Texas boots on. I got my long hair. You want to make sure that your story is in every single picture so people know your brand simply by looking at it. Now, your biggest expenditure in your campaign is mailers. Mailers is your biggest expenditure. If you're spending more money on a consultant, you fire they behind immediately. And if you are spending more money on social media, you are getting ripped off and you will not win your campaign. Mailers, mailers. Now, why? COVID has changed the game a little bit. Some people may not always open the door when you're door knocking to put a hanger on their door. And so I'm able to pay for postage to go into their mail so then they will see it if they won't open the door for me. Is that clear? Stay awake. Excellent. And there's a really cute photo of me. Now, again, there's a difference between hangers and what I have in the photo that you put on a door versus I cannot put those on or inside of a mailbox. That is illegal. But again, your biggest expenditure is a mailer. So how do you raise money? Did you guys ever get text messages asking for money? Do you guys get those text messages? This is Tim Scott. please, I need money. We need to win back the Senate. We need one seat. Do you guys ever answer those besides saying stop? Do you? No. So think about if you're raising money, think about what works on you. Would a personal phone call from a candidate work on you? Would an email work on you? Would a knock on the door work for you? And if the answer is yes, then use that strategy for your campaign. If you wouldn't answer a text message, why spend the money on something that wouldn't work on yourself? And I want you guys to be honest with me. How many of you in the 2020 election received a knock on your door to vote for Republican candidates? How many of you? One of y'all. So that's, I mean, it's a good thing, but it's also, it's a bad thing too. Here's the strategy behind it. You guys are what I would call hard conservatives. You don't need to push to vote. You're going to vote, right? So Myra, if I were you, what I would do is as you're continuing to get out the vote, maybe get a list of hard conservatives and start with those people first. Because imagine all of these voters are untapped. These are people that could be potential volunteers, potential funders, potential people to put yard signs out for you. And these are people that can be energized again to say, I'm Myra. We are not turning a blind eye to the RGV. We are organizing here. We are not going to let Democrats be the only political party down here on the southern border. And that's an opportunity to get people to join your campaign. Also, have you guys heard of Marjorie Taylor Greene? Do you know her? She's pretty successful at raising money on social media, right? So use Twitter before you get banned. Use Facebook before you get banned. Yeah, Parler, everything else. Personal touch. How many of you see handwritten letters anymore? Oh, okay, a few of you, okay. But the majority, it doesn't really happen. So when you're knocking on doors and a little dog greets you with a voter, write a personal letter afterwards. It was so nice meeting you and your dog Snowball. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, and I hope to earn your vote. And yes, I write my handwritten letters in cursive. That's right, baby. That's like hieroglyphics nowadays. They don't want us to read the Constitution anymore. Actually, that's what I think is going on. So make it personal. People won't forget that you took the time to remember. They won't forget that you remembered. So volunteer recruitment. If you guys get banned from Twitter, you can still use Twitter to organize. Go to the search button, type in RGV Trump, type in McAllen Trump, and anyone that has ever tweeted those two words together in the history of Twitter from its beginning, you'll be able to find those tweets. Now, it doesn't mean it's good or bad. So then you have to click on people's profiles and find out, are they conservative? Are they liberal? My name's Myra. I'm organizing here in the RGV. I noticed that you are a fan of President Trump. Will you volunteer with us? Will you door knock with us? Will you fund my campaign? Will you volunteer? Even if you get banned, you can still use it as an organizing tool to defeat the Democrats. Now, staying prepared. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Now, I'm a penny pincher. I watch money very carefully. So what are some free ways that you can organize while also watching your money? Freeconferencecall.com. What was the first website I taught you? What was the second website I taught you? Still the best table. This one, everyone else, I don't know what they're drinking. And now we have freeconferencecall.com. Basically what it does is you can have a phone call with all of your volunteers, all the members of your team. And the only people that can come on the phone call are people that get the number and then have a private passcode and access code associated with it. So you're not going to have Democrats trying to spy on you unless somebody gave them the information. This is something that's only going to your volunteers. Zoom, I know it's controlled by the Chinese. We love the Chinese people, just not the CCP, down with the CCP. But you can organize for up to 40 minutes for up to 100 people for free on Zoom. And last, Gmail. Gmail is very, very important because number one, it's free. And number two, it's got something called Google Docs. Do you guys know what Word is? PowerPoint, Excel, slideshow. This presentation is a Google Doc. If you ever broke your computer or hard drive, all of your information would stay online because it's a URL link, because it's right on your Gmail drive. These are all free ways you can stay organized and stay prepared. Letter to the editor. So, 200 words or less. Make a statement. Provide supporting facts. My name's Scott. I'm running for school board. I want our schools opened. I want no mask mandates. I want to make sure that parents have the choice whether or not to homeschool or send their kids in person. Vote for me on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, and I will make sure that we open our schools. Sweet, succinct, straight to the point, and it's a chance for you to have more people Google your name. When they look up Myra, when they look up Scott, boom, a letter to the editor with your name and what you choose to bring to the constituents is right there with all of your information. Now, when I cleaned up trash in Baltimore, the Baltimore Sun criticized me. They criticized me for picking up trash. I know, bless their hearts. So I wrote a letter to the editor afterwards, and I said to them, we'll be back. We're going to clean up more trash, and I hope that you will be inspired to join our effort. Spoiler alert, they did not join us. They did not help us. Shocker. So write a letter to the editor. It's something that every single one of you can do. Community service. I call this compassionate conservatism. And this is what I think politics needs on both the Democrat side and Republican. We need to show people that we actually give a darn about our community. It's one thing, the problem I have with politics is everybody is so quick to point over here and they'll say socialism, or they'll say the border, or they'll say illegal immigration. But where are the actual policies to solve these problems? So think about this for a second. Baltimore is so hot, they have to close down schools, and our babies can't learn because it's so hot during the summer months. And so imagine this. You're running for school board. You're a ma that cares about your babies. Then think about the act of love where you went, wow, I'm running for school board. I have my who, I have my why. Why don't I do an act of love by raising money for air conditioning units that I can donate to the schools to help make sure the baby is going to have the best and brightest education? Do you guys see how that act of love has synergy, how it has flow, and it circles back? No, not Jen Psaki circle back, but it circles back to why you are running for office. And you see those kids, look at the way they're looking at me. They told me in the photo, they said, Mr. Scott, we had so much fun picking up trash. And if I can get kids in West Baltimore, one of the most dangerous cities in the country, to love picking up trash, guys, I think we can change America. And quite frankly, I think we can change the world. So just remember that this is called compassionate conservatism. Compassion. Campaign rules. Be yourself. Guys, if I cut my hair, and if I weren't wearing cowboy boots, you would have thought that a body snatcher done got me, right? You'd be like, who the heck is this guy? What happened to him? So that doesn't mean don't be polished. That doesn't mean don't be prepared. That means bathe, take care of yourself, but have your flair. You know, think about it for a second. There's this woman in Florida. Her name is Frederica Wilson. She always has a hat on, a cowboy hat in Florida. And the cowboy hat, her boots are the same color. But that's her shtick. That's her brand. That's how people identify her. So she's actually very clever. She's the only member of Congress I can think of that wears a cowboy hat. So what is your brand? Be authentic. Next. Beware of consultants. They are sharks. They're as bad as lawyers. They just want your money. So if these people come to you and they say, Scott, you can win in the RGV and it's going to be easy. I would tell you that they're telling you complete bull. They're not telling you the truth. They just want your money. But if they said to you, Myra, you know, this is going to be a little bit more difficult. However, if we knock on this many doors, and if we knock on this many doors strategically this many times, and if we do campaign mailers, and if we have this many volunteers that go out, I think you can win your election. That's a campaign consultant that I want to talk to, and that actually has a plan and a strategy, and is not just telling you what you want to hear, but actually wants to make sure that you win your election. Pictures or it didn't happen. This is Obama Community Organizing 101. Take a picture, and please, for the love of God, if there's a baby, you better kiss that baby and take a picture. If there's a dog or cat, you better take a picture of you rubbing that belly and put it everywhere. Dogs and babies sell pictures and earn votes, I'm telling you. Door knocking wins elections. If you do not door knock, you will not win. And last, social media following does not win elections. If you have 11 million followers, excellent. That's so cool. I'm so proud of you. But how many of those 11 million live in your district? How many of those 11 million can vote for your behind to get into office? Am I preaching? Am I taking you to church? Yes. Okay. Next. These are people that won. These are elected officials, and I interviewed them, and I said, what is your biggest piece of advice to new people who have never run? They said, be you. Create the movement. Don't back down. This one guy in New Hampshire is the least religious state in the entire country. He ran as an unapologetic Christian conservative, and he won his election overwhelmingly because he stayed authentic to himself. He stayed true to his beliefs. He was unapologetic. And you know, I believe what they're doing to Matt Gaetz is awful. And my advice to him is do not resign. Do not back down. Do not apologize. That's right. Never, ever resign. Think about Andrew Cuomo. He's the governor of New York. He's had over 8 women have sexual assault allegations against him, and his behind has still not resigned from office. Your motto when you run for office, and we won't ever betray our values and our principles, but I think we need to act more like the Democrats. I say we fight fire with fire. I say we get down in the mud a little bit. I say we never resign. We be unapologetic. We be unabashed. We give it back to them. Of course, with peace and love and dignity and respect. Democratically. Now, that's what I have for you on running for office. Are you guys done? Do you want more? Do you want voter registration? You want more? Okay. If you want more, you have to tell me that first website that I taught you. Oh, that's like butter running down hot toast. I love hearing that. Okay, so guys, let's talk about voter registration. That was serious Scott. Let's go into fun Scott. I like him so much better. So guys, look, I met Hillary at the White House. She was on the wall. She was still up there. And the Secret Service, they thought I was really weird because I went up to them and I was like, please, can I get my picture with Hillary? They looked at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears. So that's my story. Doghouse to the White House. Branding. Let's talk Virginia for a second. I come from Virginia. Don't judge me. It used to be a Republican state. Now it's Democrat. How did they do it? Guys, voter registration. I want you guys to look at the screen and get a visual of these numbers. 2004, we won Virginia, guys. 2004 with 1.7 million votes. Kerry lost with 1.4. That's great. We won. Fast forward 4 years. In 4 years' time, President Obama has won Virginia in 2008 with 1.9 million votes. What did we lose with John McCain? 1.7. Fast forward 4 years, President Obama has again won Virginia with 1.9 million votes. What did we lose with? with Mitt Romney. What did we lose with Mitt Romney? There we go. Fast forward 4 years. Hillary Clinton has won Virginia with 1.9 million votes. What did Donald Trump lose with? Do you guys see a pattern? Do you guys see that for 12 years, the Republican Party in Virginia, stagnant, plateaued, did not grow, while the Democrats got out 500,000 new voters? So my argument is, if we want to keep Texas red, do we want to keep Texas red? So we have to grow our party. We must, Devin, register new voters. So it's kind of story time. I've lived a really weird life. I spend a lot of time on busy street corners, and my mom, she always gets on me. She says, Scott, stop saying you're working the corner. Stop it. Trump will never hire you if he thinks you're working the corner. So I go out there all alone with a sign on the busiest part of town, and my sign says there are 4 million Hispanic children living in poverty. Why do Democrats choose legal immigrants first? There are 3.6 million Black children living in poverty. Why do Democrats choose illegal immigrants first? And people roll down their window and they talk to me, and that's an opportunity to have dialogue. In that first photo, I was accosted. This group came up to me and they said, "What the heck are you doing?" I said, well, silence is compliance. And if you are not a part of the solution, you are a part of the problem. And I think it's wrong that we have homeless veterans sleeping on the streets. I think it's wrong that we don't even fill our potholes. I think it's wrong that our education is worse than Japan. I'm out here because I give a darn about my community. Guys, we're taking a selfie. I was able to turn a hostile situation into a peaceful one because I was kind, I was compassionate, I was armed with knowledge, and yes, Mom, I worked that corner. Next photo, that woman in gray, she's been over a table, she's registering to vote. She hasn't voted since 64. I told her I wasn't born yet, dear, but it's so nice to meet you. Guys, we got permission to set up that voter registration table. Ask for permission. It's a lot like dating. The worst that they can say to you is no, right? Unless you're Joe Biden and you do it anyway. But there's no hair sniffing going on here. We're not letting his dogs bite everyone like they are at the White House. So, can you believe that? He gets dogs and they start biting everyone. What the heck is going on with this president? I know. See, dogs are a judge of character. They're a judge. So, ask for permission. Set up outside a home. You okay? You doing okay? Can we get a round of applause for this man? Can we get him a Coca-Cola? Actually, I take that back. No Coca-Cola. No Coke products. Get him something else. Okay, good. Back to it. It was the Democrats. They were trying to sabotage us. It was Hillary Clinton. That's what it was. It was Stacey Abrams. Okay, so go to Home Depot. Go to Chick-fil-A. Gun shops. Gun shows. See in the next photo, we're at the beach. See that woman in front? Her name is Kristen. I'm a little weird. I run with a sign on my back in my neighborhood that I wear as a backpack because I believe if I'm going to exercise, I might as well advertise at the same time, right? 2 for 1. And so my entire community knows me as that Trump guy. We're in line at Starbucks. She turns around to me. She goes, "You're that guy. The guy with the backpack." And I'm always sheepish because I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And she said to me, "I love you." What did I say back to her? Wrong. I said, "Are you registered to vote at your current address? I want that vote." This woman, I've invited her into my home for game night. I've invited her into my home for movie night. I turned a stranger at Starbucks into a friend, into an activist for the Republican Party by being that weird guy that runs with a Trump backpack with his long flowing hair. Allison is at church. Some people say to me, Scott, how dare you mix religion and politics? And my answer is always the same. It's about time that we do. And I'm glad you're here. I really am. It's so nice to see all these faces, even here in the RGV. But I don't want you to go home after this and be like, I met Scott and I saw his hair. No, I want you guys to do something. I want you to take action. I want you to call your rabbi. I want you to call your priest. I want you to call whoever your faith leader is here in the Valley. And I want you to ask for permission to set up a nonpartisan, non-political voter registration table. You're not going in there as the Republican Party. You're not going in there supporting a candidate. You simply want to make sure that value voters, Christian voters, they get to the polls, they are mobilized, and we push them to vote their values. Last photo, we're at colleges. Guys, are we going to let Democrats be the only ones talking to young students? No! We need to present an alternative message. So, your motto again, what would the Democrats do? Would the Democrats be at high schools? Would the Democrats be at colleges? Would the Democrats be at nursing homes? Would the Democrats be at graveyard? Was that wrong? Should I not have said that? Okay, guys, no cemeteries. No graveyards. This is the land of the living. We're not. But no, seriously, we need to have an all of the above approach. Whatever the Democrats are doing, we need to be as fierce and ferocious as they are. So where do you go? Your motto is like the Little Mermaid. You want to be where the people are. I know that sounds silly, but you guys agree with me, right? You're already conservative. I got to talk to the people that don't agree with me, the people that aren't woken up yet. So go to every major community center, parks, beaches, churches, Home Depot, Chick-fil-A. Do you guys have a Home Depot here in the RGV? Guys, who goes there? Construction workers, contractors, builders, blue collar, working class. That is our base. And who knows, you may even pick up a husband there. I mean, that is a 2-for-1 going to Home Depot. See? I'm going to hook you up, Myra, if you aren't already hooked up. And what do you need to register voters? You need voter registration forms that you can either pick up by typing in RGV Voter Registration Office, or you can print them off from online. It's so easy. It's so simple. You need your clipboards. You need your pens. And now, for the next part of this presentation, I need a volunteer. Who will help me? Yeah? He's throwing you under the bus. What's your name? Karen. Can I have a round of applause for Karen? You give her applause. Come on. There you go. Come up here. Cute shoes. Okay, so Miss Karen, you're at Home Depot and you're pushing around your cart. Now, in this first scenario, you're a conservative and you believe in all of those conservative ideas, but you're not registered to vote. And I know that sounds weird, but in 2016, 120 million people didn't vote. 120 million people. But I see that as opportunity. That is chance for us to win those people over. Okay, so push around your cart. Ma'am, how do you feel about making sure that we have safety and security at our southern border?
It's very necessary.
Excellent. Are you registered to vote at your current Texas address?
No.
Well, you know what? I've got forms. I can register to vote right here, right now, in 2 minutes flat.
Sure, let's do it.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. You did great. Stay there, though. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so guys, when I found out she's a conservative, that she wants safety, she wants security, she wants to protect the babies, am I letting her get away? Am I letting her get away? No. So remember that body language is 90% of communication. We are talking to each other without even knowing that we are talking to each other. So when I found out she's conservative, I nicely, but but aggressively shove my clipboard over to her because I'm indicating with my body language, I want you to sign this. I want you to take this. The majority of people in America are agreeable. They will take something from you, even if they don't want it, to get you to go away. So that is why we're going to be nicely aggressive. Karen, you did great. Now, you're not done. Okay, scenario 2. You're a diehard conservative. Dyed in the wool. You're registered to vote. You're on fire for our country. You're at Home Depot. You're wearing a hat that says 45. You're wearing a matching shirt that says 45. You got your nails did TRUMP. That's her. Okay, so I come up. Ma'am, you're pushed under cart. Ma'am, how do you feel about supporting our men and women in blue who put their lives on the line for us every single day?
Hashtag back the blue.
I know, a man in uniform. I mean, come on. Are you registered to vote at your current address?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, you know what? I'm out here supporting local candidates for office. We are organizing right here, right now. We know that Philemon Vela has retired from Congress, and we want to flip that from blue to red. Will you help us?
Yes, sign me up.
Excellent. Okay. You did great. You're not done. Stay there. Stay there. Okay, so guys, again, when I found out that she's registered, is that enough? Am I going to let her get away? No. I'm going to network. I'm going to get her information. I'm going to bring her as a part of our family because that's what we are, familia. So now I want you guys to look at Karen. Look at her. She loves Bernie Sanders. She is an Elizabeth Warren supporter. And in her home, she has a shrine to Joe Biden. Shrine. That's Karen, the original Karen, by the way. I don't know that. Okay, so you're at Home Depot. You know what to do. So push her under the cart. Ma'am, what if I said to you, oh, she's too good at this. Ma'am, what if I said to you the motto, let's put America first?
I'm sorry, I'm really busy right now.
Here, call me a bigot. Call me a racist. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day. Can I get a round of applause for Miss Karen? You give her applause. You give her excitement. She did great. Okay, so guys, when she's rude to me, when she name calls me, am I going to get anywhere with her getting into a confrontation? No. Am I going to waste my time? No. I'm here to win. This is a science. This is a numbers game. If I only have an hour to dedicate to a campaign, I'm going to use that time effectively, efficiently. I'm going to find as many volunteers as I can, register as many new Republican voters as I can. Karen, you were wonderful. You did great. Now, did I ask Karen what her political party is? Did I ask Karen who her favorite candidate is for office? No, I asked her a policy question, a qualifying question to identify whether she's conservative or liberal. Does she want safety and security at the border? Does she back the blue? Does she not want mask mandates? Is she pro-life? Does she want the ability to have our First Amendment right to go to church and not have people shut down our ability? You see how those are conservative policies that we can get people to join us without pushing them away with the candidate's name? That is how we're going to register new voters. Now, I want you guys to look at this TV screen. Look at them! But don't you laugh. These are my friends. I'll hurt you. These two people reached out to me on Instagram and they said, Scott, I love the work that you do, and I'm a fan of President Donald Trump. These are two real-life conservative voters. Do I look like your typical conservative? No, I don't. You can say it. You can be honest. But think about these people. If you're ever working the corner and you see a girl, and she's got shorter hair than mine, and it's green, and it's blue, and it's purple, and she's tattooed from head to toe, and she has more piercings than I have fingers or toes. Give her the time of day, and give her dignity, and give her respect, and ask her a question, because you never know. She could be a Scott Presler in hiding, just waiting to join our movement. And that's what we are, guys. We are a no judgment movement. And more importantly, we're a movement based on love. And love is action. Love is truth. Love is putting those words into action. Now look at the screen. Who's in the top left-hand corner? Who is that? What did the Democrats try to do? Rip them apart. And how dare Democrats say keep families together? How dare Democrats say believe women when they tried to rip this family apart and left those 3 women in silence? And look at the bottom left-hand corner. Who do you see? You see a double amputee, a veteran who can no longer feel touch with his hands. And what does our president do? He touches his face so we can feel that compassion, that warmth, that love. And in the picture in the middle, who is that? President Trump with an elderly grandmother whose grandbaby, a police officer, was shot and killed in New York City. And what is our president doing? He's comforting her, and she is clutching onto him. You see, if we want to win, we have to do a better job as conservatives as being storytellers, because Republicans and Democrats think differently. And that's not a dig. I'm not being disrespectful. What I mean by that is I think Republicans are quick to think with their heads, and Democrats are quick to think with their hearts. And that means if we want to win over a Democrat, we must become a storyteller. We must paint a picture for them. We must pull at those heartstrings, evoke emotion, and talk about, for example, I just saw a video at the wall of 2 toddlers who were thrown over the side of the wall and left there, abandoned, and the 2 people that brought them ran away, neglecting these 2 toddlers to fend for themselves. I think if we shared testament like that and storytelling like that, we may be able to show that we need more compassion, more empathy in talking about the humanitarian border crisis. Does that make sense to you guys? Is that clear? Example, social media. I love registering voters, and not just to show off my hair, because in these pictures it looks really good. But whenever you guys register a voter, take a photo. Whenever you knock on a door, I'm out here, I'm knocking on doors. We are out here in the RGV. We are not a one-party system down here in the Valley. We are organizing Republicans. And show people, you see that guy on the right? He was 17 years old in the picture. Did you know that in the state of Texas registered a vote at 17 and 10 months, right? So why are we not talking to our high school students? Why are we not talking to the senior class? It's about who gets to them first. Are we going to allow the Democrats talk to them first, or are we going to plant seeds of conservatism? That's why we must also branch out into our high schools and make sure we're investing in the next generation. And California, you can pre-register at 16, by the way. Now, Texas is a little bit different. Texas is one of the states in the country. See, I'm really nice that I do this for all 50 states across the country. I've done all the homework on voter registration. So if you have friends in other states that want to get involved, I can send you this presentation so they can register voters in their respective states. I will make this available for every single one of you. Now in Texas, you have to become something called a volunteer deputy voter registrar. So everybody is going to say VDVR. Let's try again. That was bad. VDVR. What was the first website I taught you? What was the second website I taught you? This is a smart group. Wow, I'm really impressed. I really am. So what you're going to do is on your own time, all you have to do is watch a 10-minute free video on how to become a volunteer deputy voter registrar. You sign a free affidavit, and they will even mail voter registration forms to your home so you can collect the forms and turn in the forms. Scott, why am I just going to turn in the forms for someone? Why can't I let them do it themselves? No. If they are not registered to vote, there's a reason why they're not registered to vote. Maybe they're just apathetic. Maybe they don't really care. Maybe they have 10 kids and they're running around to soccer games all day. Maybe they don't have the time. You are going to be the community organizer like President Obama and turn in the form for them. Am I clear? Am I clear? Excellent. Okay, so what other ways can you become an activist? I really like to sit at Starbucks, and I sit there with my Trump computer, and I sit in the drive-through window so everybody can see my smiling face. Now, some people, they're giving me high fives and they're waving at me. Other people, they're telling me I'm number one, if you catch my drift. So the people that are waving an affirmation, I run out to their car window, I knock on their door, and what do I say? That's your current address. Good job, we're getting there, we're getting there. So what other ways can you get involved? Number one, I want you guys to join your local Republican Party. Because think about it for a second. Guys, are we the party of Mitt Romney? Are we the party of Jeb Bush? Are we the party of Liz Cheney? No! But these people are in power. And part of the reason why these people are in power is because we are not. We are not in those positions of leadership. So I want you to join your local Republican Party. I want you to find out what precinct you live in. And I want you to find out if the precinct you live in has a vacant precinct chair. And if that is vacant, then you sign up because you will have voting power. You will have power at the local level to take over peacefully our Republican parties and make sure that in 2024, we don't have Liz Cheney's calling the shots. It's true conservatives that will be calling the shots within our party. Am I clear? Excellent. Okay, I already went over letters to the editor. Who is this woman? What's her name? Broward County, Florida. Brenda Snipes. Brenda Snipes. Do you guys remember how in the 2018 election, a ballot box appeared out of nowhere in an Avis van delivered after the election? And it's because somebody took a picture of it that today we have Governor Ron DeSantis in the great state of Florida. So if you see something, okay, finally, you guys were smart. I'm used to people saying, say something, and I say wrong. No, pull out your phone, record it, send it to your friend Scott that has 800,000 followers, and I will blast it everywhere. But the fact of the matter is, guys, this is Real Talk with Scott for a second. I love fun. I love sine waves. I love flotillas. I love boat parades. But if we're going to win, we need to do those things plus signing up to be election judges, signing up to work the polls, signing up to knock on doors, to write letters, to register voters. We can incorporate the fun, but we have to do the hard work if we're going to outwork the Democrats and win elections going into 2022 and 2024. Letters to voters. The Democrats are writing letters into your state right now from states like Oregon, Washington, California, New York. The liberals are trying to turn your state blue, and they're doing it with liberals from outside the state. So I started doing the same thing. We wrote into Ohio. We wrote into Missouri. We wrote into West Virginia from Virginia, and we helped elect Senator Josh Hawley in 2018. That's right. Take that, Stacey Abrams. I'm coming, girlfriend. So, see this picture here of that family? That's my family, not by blood, but by choice. So I want you guys to look at each other for a second. Look at each other! You guys are a family. Do you know why? Because you share the same principles. You share the same values. You share the same love of country. You guys are a family. And before you leave today, I want you to trade your number with 5 new people. 5! And I'll be watching. I won't come back to the RGV unless I see you do it. So, Trade your number. Get to know each other. This is how we organize. This is how we take back control. And see the woman in the bottom left-hand corner? Her name is Jocelyn. She's a ma. She said, I'm worried about my baby. That's why I'm helping you. Eli, a Puerto Rican American. Miles, the floating head in the back. I met him at Starbucks. I was wearing a Stop Hillary t-shirt. We hit it off. It was like selling hotcakes. And look, you guys can have so much fun. There's a gosh darn dog on the table in the right-hand corner. So imagine, have a letter writing party. That's a pizza party. That's a wine party. That's a shoot the whiskey party. Have fun with it. You guys are a family. Community service. Community service changed my life. And you see that guy in plaid? He wasn't with us. We pick up trash in majority minority neighborhoods because we want to show that Republicans are doers. We're solvers. We're coming out to make America clean and green again. And so he came up to us and he said, what the heck are you doing? I said, well, I am an environmental steward. And he was so taken aback by it that he wanted his picture with us. And I still think about it to this day. He probably went home to his wife and was like, honey, there are Trump supporters in the neighborhood. And they're picking up trash. But you know what we did that day, guys? We changed a heart. And we changed a mind by being kind, compassionate, caring, and by picking up trash. And you see, we become a family. There's Eli, the Puerto Rican American. There's Jocelyn, the mom. Our shared love of country brought us together. 2 more slides and I'm done. Next photo. This is in Pungo, Virginia. This is a Save America, Never Hillary mural that we got permission to paint on the side of a restaurant. They allowed us to paint it. I still can't believe it. And you see in the bottom right-hand corner, if you strain your eyes to look, we even built a wall on the southern border. It was a blast. It was so much fun. And you see those 3 military men? They really wanted their photo taken with us. And I said, of course I'll take your picture. And then what did I say? Wrong. I said to them, thank you for your service. Thank you for defending the red, white, and blue. Thank you for defending Old Glory. Are you single? I gotta do what I gotta do. And then I said, are you registered to vote at your current address? So guys, the media came out because a deranged Democrat decided to vandalize our Save America, Never Hillary mural. How rude. But a long-haired, 6'5" Eagle Scout tipped off the media. Still to this day, I don't know who that person is. And that day, my friends, I wasn't a victim, but I was a victor. My website is scottpresler.org. There is only one S in Presler, which does stand for scintillating. You didn't know that. I want to make a couple things clear for you. I don't work for the Republican Party. I don't work for the GOP. I don't work for the Ronna McDaniel. I am 100% organic, independent, grassroots, and nobody pulls my strings or puppets me. I also want to say a couple things that in 2022, if you are an elected Republican official and you as governor, for example, are not pushing to open our schools, open our businesses, no vaccine mandates, voter ID, no illegal immigrants accepted into your state, if you do not do those things, then just know that I am coming to primary, repeal, and replace you. And I'm going to Alaska to help primary Lisa Murkowski. I'm going to Wyoming to primary Liz Cheney. I'm going to Illinois to primary Adam Kinzinger. And anybody that is not America first, they are America last and are not a friend of mine. I also want to say one last thing, and I am saying this as a gringo, so don't judge me too much. Voy a hablar de mi corazón. Me llamo Scott y estoy aquí porque me encanta los Estados Unidos. Y más importante, me encanta la gente. Y quiero el mejor educación para los niños. Quiero el mejor calles, transportación. Quiero la paz, la libertad. Quiero oportunidad para mi gente. Y yo creo que la gente de los Estados Unidos deben poner primero. Entonces, ojalá que ustedes votar republicano. And to our non-Spanish speakers, what I said to you is I said, I'm here because I love our country. I love our people. All I want is the best for us. I want our kids to have a bright future. I want us to invest in our roads, into our education, into our transportation. I want peace. I want liberty. I want opportunity. And I think that's something that every single one of us wants. And I simply want to put the American people first. And I thank you, very humbled for you coming and having this meeting with us tonight. And I hope that you will be encouraged at the end of this. You will be the people that say, I will. I'm done. That's it. It's over. Okay? Did I do okay?
Scott, you are so awesome. And what an inspiration. Your Spanish was really good. For a gringo, huh? So anyway, thank you so much. If you know people who were not able to be here today, Scott will be in Harlingen tomorrow evening. We are going to go do the same presentation. So if you know somebody or from that region in Cameron County, let them know that we will be at the, I believe it's a city church. I think it's called City Church. It's on our website, LatinoTrumpCoalition.org. You'll see our events and it'll have the address on there. But we want to thank you all so much for coming out, being with us. And I forgot to announce one other person that's with us. She is our press secretary, Christy. Back there, wave, Christy. We call her Turtle. So it's Christy Turtle. She is new to our organization and she's been kicking butt, putting out press releases for us. That's what she does. And so she's amazing. And we just love that our family is growing, and it's not about our skin color, but it's about our policies and everything that we stand for. So I thank y'all. And I know the owner is not here, but the owner of this place is amazing. He's a good friend of mine. And I just want to thank him. So maybe he'll go back and look, but I want to thank him for allowing us to use this venue tonight, and for having the kitchen open here and the bars open. Please, if you have not eaten, support our local business. This is a local business. It's not a chain. It is a local business. He was hit hard by COVID, as all of our small business were. But if you haven't eaten, make sure you grab something to eat or grab something for the bar. And thank you all again for coming out. Yeah. So, Maria in the back here, if she waves her hand, she is in charge of the volunteer list. We are feeding our Border Patrol agents, over 600 agents. And so what we're doing is we are actually, the owner of this place is also the owner of Taqueria Matador. And he is going to be doing all of our meals, preparing them. And she's coordinating all the volunteers that will pick up the plates and take them to the designated areas. We're picking up the food and delivering it to the stations. And so it's just like a pickup drop off, but we're making sure that 10 of our Border Patrol stations receive food. So it's over 600 people that we're feeding from Brownsville all the way to Rio Grande. And if we get a couple of more volunteers, we will, that are drivers that can help us, we would like to take plates out to Sarita and Falfurrias checkpoint. So even if we can get some people out driving that direction to deliver some food out there, that won't be a big order because it's a checkpoint. So we're looking at probably 30 to 40 plates that we'll take out there. But if you're interested, please get with Maria in the back so she can add you to the list. We will be sending out the address because it's only for volunteers. This is not like everybody else. The public can show up because we're going to be at an undisclosed location trying to coordinate all of this. And so an address will be mailed out to you or emailed out or texted out to you tomorrow. Tomorrow for Wednesday. But I appreciate everybody who has already signed up to volunteer. If this is a task, this is our 5th time feeding our Border Patrol agents or our first responders. So it's a big task, but it's the way we give back. And it's because of grassroots donors that donate money to make this possible for us to make sure that we are able to get that done. So we appreciate everything that you all do as well here. Stay engaged, do what Scott tells you to get. I mean, he is phenomenal. Everything that he's told you here tonight is what we need to be doing. And, guys, keep the faith. You guys did something. Everybody is talking about this region. I do interviews a lot for, on podcast. Steve Bannon, Steve Bannon, I know the War Room. Y'all, I went to Florida. I travel a lot, and people are talking about the Rio Grande Valley. They're like, what in the world happened down there? I'm like, I don't know, but people are just, it was about, I always tell this to people who don't understand. And just the other day, an article came out, and it was like the 5th MMA fighter that came out in support of Trump. Now, he's not in office anymore, but he was coming out in support of Trump. And I always tell people, what they don't understand about our culture es que nos gusta pelear. We love the fighters, right? We don't give up. And I don't mean street fight, we go beat up people, but we're fighters, right? We fight for everything we have. It's lo tenemos adentro. And what people don't understand is that Trump was a luchador. And they would come after him and hit him hard and drag him and they'd KO him and upper jab him and everything. And he'd come back, stand up, and fight 10 times as harder for this country. And so I tell people, he didn't pay us to vote for him. He earned our vote because he fought for us. He fought for everybody in the country, regardless of skin colors, of choices. He fought for people in this country. And that's what people can't understand, is that, we had the fastest growing small businesses under his administration. And who were the fastest small growing business leaders? Latina women. Latina women were the fastest growing small business in his administration. We had the lowest unemployment for Blacks and Hispanics under his administration. We understood it was about the money that was in our pockets. We weren't overtaxed. We weren't overregulated. We had a booming economy. People just think that everything the Hispanic community cares about is immigration. That's far from it. That's not the priority for our communities. It is something that we care about, but it's not the priority. At the end of the day, like Scott says, we want our kids educated. We want them to have a better life than what we did. And so that's what this president stood for. And I toured a lot of this region and throughout the whole state of Texas. And I will tell you, when we were going through Freer, George West, just all these small towns, right? The forgotten ones. And I say forgotten because the GOP doesn't visit them. The RNC doesn't visit them. And just going to the restaurants and sitting down and eating, and waitresses coming up to us and talking to us, they were like, my son, my husband, they're working in the oil field right now. And they are telling me that, I need to vote for Trump. And I've never voted. They would tell us this though. We've never either they say they never voted or they never voted Republican. But they said my son or my husband is telling me that it's vital that we keep this man in office because if not, they're going to lose their jobs. And look what's happened. So our Hispanic community was thriving because those are good paying jobs. They're not $8 an hour job. Those were good paying jobs that our own community was getting those jobs all up and down in West Texas, all the way down here to South Texas. And it's affected, this administration has affected our small businesses, and it's affected the jobs that our own were able to provide for their families. That's what it's about. And so I tell you, it's not, like Scott said, it's not always about the party. It's about who we are as a culture. And that's what I try to explain to people all over the country about what it is to live down here in a border town, what you guys face, why you guys came out in large numbers for Trump. And believe it or not, people around the country are saying, well, that was just a phenomenon. Trump is gone now and they're just going to all go away. And I'm like, no, because the Hispanic people are fighters. And we ain't going away. We're not going away that easy. We are fighters. We are luchadores. It doesn't matter if it's Trump. Trump was a man. That's it. We have God and we have ourselves and our own families. And you're right. We're going to continue to fight. And that's what even Steve Bannon says. He goes, you guys are fighters. That's right. We're going to go down with a fight. Even my own gangsters in the barrio, they tell me, they said, hey, when we're in the gang, and we can get beaten up by 5 people, but we ain't going down. We're still throwing up, even if we got 5 people on us. That's right, because we're fighters. We're not just going to go down without a fight. And that's what I ask of you all. Keep that fire in your belly. Keep that fire in your heart. Keep fighting for this region because it's not over. It's not over. Do the simple things that Scott's talked about here. And I guarantee you keep working hard. And I'm telling you right now, the other side is scared. They are, because they know that there is huge potential down here. And at the end of the day, we want our communities to thrive. We want them to be, successful. And we just want the best for our community. So I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out on a Monday night. I thank you all so much. And so Christy, and then now we've had, I'm a little bit kind of famous. So Rolando just walked in, and Rolando was, as y'all know, he went to go testify at the Texas Capitol. And he tells the House representatives, we started the Trump train. I'm a little bit famous. I said, oh my God, he's so funny. But, we love him for everything that he does. Thank you. And I'll have Myra do one last word.
I just want to say that this is more than what the Democrats think. This is about our community, about our country, and we're not giving it up. I, for one, am going to fight for my country because when America, there's nowhere else to run. We cannot let this be taken over by communism or socialism in our community or state or in our country. So we need to continue to fight and fight for the people that are not afraid to speak up. I've already lost my job once. And guess what? I'm not afraid to lose it again because my country is more important to me than anything. Because this is where my family lives, and this is where I'm able to worship the God that protects me and the one that saved me. So this is about our country, about us, about our religious liberties. So fight for our country and support those candidates that are not afraid to speak up and say how they feel. It's not about pushing oneself, your business or your statue in the community. It's about the country. Put yourself aside and put this country first.
Woo! Amen. Thank you all. Do I have any elected officials though here, just by any chance? Any already elected officials? Okay. All right. Just wanted to ask, make sure that if they were, I recognize them. Huh? Oh my gosh. I'm talking about a local elected official, Christy. You were hilarious. I'm presiding judge too, so Yeah, for us precinct chairs, how many precinct chairs? Do we have precinct chairs here? Way to go. All right, awesome. That's an elected official, by the way, because you get sworn in. So everybody, thank you. Have a great evening. And we just thank you again. Go follow us on Latino Trump coalition.org. Just, you can go on our website and pretty much find out where we're at all on social media. Thank you all so much. And I think Scott's around here somewhere. There he is. So if you want pictures with Scott, please. Yes, he loves to take pictures. So thank you all so very much.
Like 6 a.m. and they run like 6 miles.
Admiral,
Yes,
what did you think of tonight?
inspiring, absolutely inspiring and energizing. We need to have these type of meetings all over Texas.
Absolutely. We're going to continue to do that. Admiral, thank you so much for being out with us today.
Well, it's been an honor and my pleasure.
This is just the beginning because we got a whole week's worth of activities and all kinds of things that we're doing out here.
Absolutely looking forward to it very much.
Thank you, Admiral. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the
Thank you,
support.
Bianca.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, so happy that you guys are running here.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Oh, Scott. Hey. Did you want to do your video with everybody? Yeah. Do you want to? We'll crowd them up right now. Oh, you don't want to do your like. Okay. All right.
Hey, la jefa, ¿cómo
Llegaste
estás?
tarde.
No, hombre, ando bien cansado y no me lo esperaba.
I know. It's okay. Oh yeah, don't worry. Thank you.
On 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Again, on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Right there. Cheese. I don't know the Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you all for joining in. Keep following us, LatinoTrumpCoalition.org. I'm going to go ahead and sign off right now because I'm going to start taking pictures. So thank you so very much.
What's our hashtag for tonight?
Hashtag Save America. Hashtag Save the RGB.